As this video reaches the internet, we are mere hours away from the premiere of Doctor Who Season 2. But for all I know, you might be watching this after the Robot Revolution has aired. Nevertheless, here is a predictions slash speculation video because I thought, what the hell, let's do this type of video. But before we begin, make sure you leave a like, leave a nice comment, subscribe to the channel, and you can also follow me on Blue Sky. Link is in the description. In terms of Doctor Who Season 2, there's quite a bit of information that's come out. The promotion, as ever, has been great. Just like Season 1, last few weeks it's ramped up. We've had quite a number of trailers. There's now a lot of social media posts, which is quite funny because I think it was just only a few weeks ago there was nothing that was posted anywhere on Doctor Who's social media, and then a lot of fans were saying like, what's going on? But then all of a sudden it ramped up again. A lot of people are pointing to the press saying that this series is going to be a lot darker tonally, which I think is very interesting considering apparently Season 2 was filmed back to back with Season 1, so there wasn't really much of a break between series when it came to filming behind the scenes. This was done around a year ago, so I believe it's been nearly a year, I'm guessing, for the most part, since Ncuti and the rest of the cast have been done with the stuff, apart from maybe the odd pick-up shots here and there. They're saying that this series is going to be darker. It's not really a secret. A lot of people have said that. Ncuti said that. RTD has said that. And yeah, I predict, just going by the trailers and some of the pictures we've had, I do think that we're going to get a bit of dark stuff in this. I would like this to be darker than last season. As much as I like Season 1, at times I did feel like it was just easing the waters, so to speak. It was made as a reintroduction to Doctor Who, which is kind of weird because it was kind of all over the place by the finale, because we had a villain that a lot of people in the general public were not aware about, who returned for the first time in nearly 50 years. We got them watching an old episode of Doctor Who in the middle of the finale, and then we had a very subpar climax to the finale. I don't personally think it ruined the series. I enjoyed Season 1, but I think it was a very safe season, which I think is fine for a Season 1. You want to have that balance. But I think for Season 2, I'd like the show to pull out all the stops. The thought of having a darker tone is great for me. I love it when Doctor Who goes dark. My favourite era is probably like the Philip Hinchcliffe era from Classic Who. That's like Tom Baker's first 3 seasons, because it was like more or less a home run of fantastic stories which had those gothic horror elements. I don't quite think we're gonna get that like in every story in this season, because we're only getting like 8 episodes. We're getting a variety of new writers in here, along with RTD and Pete Mattig's coming back, and he wrote a couple of episodes in the Jodie era. I think that we're going to get dark moments. I think episode 3 is going to be the one that a lot of people are going to be looking out for. And potentially finale, because the reality war, I have no idea like what the hell's going to be going on. Whether we do get that payoff though, my fingers are really crossed. I really hope that we get a better payoff for this series. I've said this, I feel like I've said this so many times. I just want this to stick to the landing. I don't want it to let me down. But at the same time, if it does, it does I think the main thing is I just want to have fun. So whether we do stick to the landing on the darker tone, hopefully we do, but I don't think it's going to be consistent throughout the series. I do think we're going to get those lighter moments, which is fine because Doctor Who is going to have a lot of variety in terms of the storytelling. Like, I think the Eurovision one, that's going to be one, I think it's going to be the lighter tone story. And that's just my prediction. For all I know, that could end up being a totally dark story. Unlikely, but you never know. Last season, we got a couple of shocks. I think we're going to get a moment in here which is going to be very fan wanky. Sometimes, like, when I say that, it sounds like it's a negative thing, but sometimes I think it is a really good thing. So the fan wankiest thing from last season was having the Schalke Doctor turn up in Rogue, which also happened to me my favourite episode because it did a lot of new things and it was just a lot of fun. It was just a really fun episode and it was the one I most enjoyed overall. I think having something like that happen in here could be possible, whether it's just one thing or whether it's a few things. I'd love it if we got it in every episode, but I don't think we're going to be getting that because I think RTD wants to be focusing on new elements. He wants to continue with this whole supernatural sci-fi feel. Just judging from the trailers, there's going to be a lot of special effects in this season. It's going to be special effects heavy, which is fine because I think the special effects for the most part has been really good last year. It looks like it's going to be even better here. And it was good in the Jodie era. Doctor Who's had good special effects for the last few years, hasn't it? Obviously, a worry I've got is it going to be too similar to season one just due to the fact that it was done back to back, so therefore a lot of this was getting filmed before season one was probably out, or it was while season one was airing. It's going to be interesting to see whether a lot of the stuff from season one carries over, like whether it's the good stuff or whether it's some of the not so good stuff. Hopefully it's the former and not the latter. As I've said over and over, darker tone, but also we've got the new companion. And I think this can create a completely new dynamic. From what has been said, Belinda is going to be someone who is a reluctant companion. She doesn't want to be on the TARDIS. It's not something that's completely new. I know that the press are giving it this spin, or it's like a companion we've not really had before because it's someone who doesn't want to be there. And I suppose in like recent times it is true, it's something we've not had before in like the modern era. But in terms of Doctor Who history, we've had a few companions, like Ian and Barbara didn't want to be with the first Doctor, and Tegan certainly didn't want to be with the fifth Doctor initially, until eventually those characters do warm to the Doctor and they like being a part of the TARDIS crew. I think it's just going to be the same here with Belinda, but obviously there's going to be a new spin because it's written for a modern day audience. I am quite excited to see like how the 15th Doctor and Belinda bounce off each other, because I've only known the 15th Doctor being with Ruby Sunday, so having a new companion can create something new. Ruby Sunday is going to be in this series. How much she's going to be in this series, I don't know. From what I've heard, she's going to be more of a recurring character rather than a main character. I believe she's in episode 4, and I think she's going to be in the finale as well. I don't know whether she reunites with the Doctor. I presume she is going to reunite with the Doctor by the time we get to the finale, because I think the whole theme of this season is the Doctor trying to get Belinda home, and there's going to be a lot of adventures which take place off-world and in different times, before we finally get to the present day, because I think the story arc surrounding Belinda is, my prediction is it's something to do with like a paradox, hence why they can't get back home. And then when they finally do get home, there's a lot of things that go wrong, and reality is just screwed up, basically. That's my own theory, without reading too much into leaks online or rumours, because I'm just going into this fresh with a completely blind eye. I have no idea about a lot of the leaks. I've tried to avoid them as much as I can. In terms of Ruby, though, it's going to be interesting to see like how she's got on since she left the Doctor at the end of the last season, and I would like to see maybe an extension on her storyline. I felt like it was very anticlimactic, as did many other people. Me and my girlfriend just sighed when it turned out that it was all a road sign. That's where her name came from, and I just thought it was a very poor way to end that season. It didn't ruin the season for me, by the way, because I still enjoyed a lot of the season, but I just thought, it's a very poor way to end something which was supposed to be one of the most important parts of the whole story. It'd be nice if we got something and then it turns it all around. Do I think we're going to be getting old enemies coming back? Well, I don't want Daleks, I don't want Cybermen, and I don't want anything to do with Time Lords or anything like that. I don't think we're going to be getting any of that. No Gallifrey, nothing like that. I'd be very shocked if we did get like any of those. It'd be very well kept secret at this stage, but I guess if you have a good secret and then you pull it off in the right way, then you've done a good job. I do wonder if we're going to end up with another Sutek situation, so we're going to bring back an old enemy from the past that's not been seen for a very, very long time, which a lot of newbies will be very unfamiliar with, but a lot of nerds like myself, who's watched all of Doctor Who and its expanded media, they'll be very familiar with these characters. There's rumours that maybe we're going to be getting the Guardians turn up in the finale. I mean, I don't know. There's all sorts of bloody rumours flying around. And then, of course, you've got the obvious one, Mrs. Flood. Oh yeah, she's the Rani. I mean, it'd be really funny if she turns out that she is the Rani. I presume that we are going to find out her identity in this season, as it has been confirmed by the BBC that Anita Dobson will be appearing as Mrs. Flood in all episodes of this season. So it's kind of similar to the Susan Triad situation what we had from last season, because there was the whole story there. She kept appearing as different characters throughout before we finally found out that she was part of the grand plan from Sutek. But I think there's a bit more to Mrs. Flood. The obvious thing is, oh yeah, she's the Rani, but I don't know, it feels a bit anticlimactic if she does just turn out to be the Rani. My own theory personally is she is some sort of god, and she breaks into the fourth wall so much, and I think she has a lot to do with the reality thing. And there has been theories, and it might come true, that there'll be a lot of that in this series, where you'll get a lot of fourth wall breaking, and it'll all come to a head in the finale, the reality war. And I can sort of see it where it becomes very meta to the point where the Doctor realises he's in a TV show. Now, it sounds like a jump the shark moment there for this show, but I think if it's done in a really clever way, which I think RTD is capable of, then we could end up with something which is spectacular. Either that, or we just end up with something which is just a damp squib, and then everyone ends up complaining and wishes that the show would just go away for good. I guess that brings us to the elephant in the room, which is the speculation about what happens after Doctor Who Season 2 is done. There's rumours that Ncuti is going to be going at the end of the season. I hope it's not true. My prediction is somehow he does stay on, but then I wonder if there's going to be multiple endings that have been filmed in case, just regarding the situation, like what happens with the future of the show. Is Disney keeping hold of it? I think like it won't get cancelled. I don't think Doctor Who is just going to be gone like that. I'd be really shocked if that happens. So, I do think we'll get a season 3 or a series 16 if we end up going back to the naming convention before Disney got involved. But there are rumours suggesting that we may get a shock regeneration. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, because Ncuti Gatwa is a very popular actor. He is up and coming. He's doing loads of projects on stage, on TV, and film. So I wouldn't be that surprised if he did leave after this season. But at the same time, I'd be very disappointed. Evangeline, my girlfriend, she agrees with me. She wants a Doctor that can last beyond 3 series. I don't think Ncuti is going to be that Doctor, personally. I mean, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want a Doctor that lasts beyond the 3 series. We're already saying this because we've had it quite a few times in the last few years with previous incarnations. You did have Tennant do just over 4, going into 5. He did do the 3 series, but then he had like a bunch of specials like spread across the span of nearly 2 years. So we could end up with a situation like that where we don't get a season 3 next year, which I think is likely because there's still no word on it, and you would have thought by now, even before the start of this, that we would have got something, but no, we've not. So if we are getting it, which I think we will eventually, I don't think it's going to be next year. If it is going to be next year, then it's going to be very late next year. It won't be this time next year. It'll be more of an autumn-winter time for the air date. Failing that, it'll be 2027, which sounds completely bonkers. But this is reality we live in. My wish is it's still going to be with Ncuti Gatwa, and if we are going to have to wait that long, then it would be really nice that we did get a special or 2 in between, just to whet our appetite. We obviously do have the war between the land and the sea, which is rumoured to be coming out either late this year or next year. If there is no series next year, then it would make sense maybe to bring that out next year. And then the other thing, of course, is Disney. Are they going to be involved after this season? Because apparently, beyond this, no one knows. Going back to what I want to see more from the series, though, I want there to be a wow moment. I've gone on about the fan wank moments, but I want there to be a big wow moment where I can look back upon in years to come and think, yeah, that was a really good moment. Me and Evangeline were going on about this, and it was like we couldn't really think too much about anything from season 1, and that's not to say it was a bad season. It was good, but in context of like a climax of an episode where the Doctor does something clever or the companion does something clever, I'd like to see that again, because I feel like it's been a good while since we've seen that, and Evangeline agrees. So, something like a wow moment, like when Rose Tyler absorbs the vortex and then she saves the day. She defeats Daleks. You know, something like that. That would be really good. The 15th Doctor gets to have a moment like that. He's had like some pretty good moments already, but we need one of those oomph moments where it makes you fist pump. Actually, when I come to think about it, there's quite a few of his moments where that are his strongest, and actually it's when he's at his most emotional, which is quite controversial because quite a few people don't seem to like that. In terms of what Evangeline has said, she said that she wants this series to be more colourful, and I completely agree. I think we've got potential for a lot of colour with the series just due to the Disney budget and a lot of the settings that we're going to be visiting. We're going to be visiting 1920s, I believe, at some point. I think it's in episode 2. She also wants a good dynamic between the 15th Doctor and Belinda. And one thing that we hope continues is the 15th Doctor is going to be more open. So he's not going to be closing himself off, a bit like how the 13th Doctor did quite a lot of the times, which I sort of got for her character, but it was very annoying at the same time. So as long as we get more of that, not too much obviously, because you don't want to reveal too much, because I think that could ruin the nature of Doctor Who, because you always need that little element of mystery. But certainly like having that very open environment where the Doctor can just be open about his feelings and the companion can talk to him, because then it'll feel more like a real friendship rather than just something which is just written on the page and it's just been done to death at this point. And yeah, we just both want a very fun series. I have another prediction which may be a potential spoiler, and you know, it could be unlikely, but I guess time will tell, and that would be maybe we could possibly get a certain Doctor reappear during this series somehow, just based on an interaction that we both had with a certain Jo Martin last year. It would be nice to think that maybe by the time we saw her at the Preston Comic Con, that she'd already filmed her scenes with Ncuti Gatwa, because I think that would be really nice. If we got like a little Fugitive Doctor cameo in there somehow, that would be pretty neat. I'd love to see that. I don't know how the hell it would work and to what context it would work, but yeah, seeing that would be pretty rad. But if we don't get that, it's not the end of the world. In terms of the Robot Revolution, which is just about to come out, I expect just a fun romp. It's just going to be a nice companion introduction story. It's just no high stakes. Apparently it's going to have a shocking end. Goodness knows what that's going to be about. Is that going to be something to do with the 15th Doctor? Is it going to reveal something? Is it going to be something to do with Belinda? Is it going to be something to do with Mrs. Flood? I highly doubt it's going to be something to do with Mrs. Flood. I know she's in it, but I think if they're going to do something with Mrs. Flood, they're going to pace it out. They're going to wait all the way to the finale to tell us all that actually she's the Rani, and for some reason she just likes talking to the camera. As ever, I am cautiously optimistic. I don't want to set my expectations too high because we don't want to be too disappointed. That's all for now in terms of Doctor Who Season 2 predictions and what we want to see. Bring it on.